The Simulami Civil War was a civil war in the Simulami Empire on Rathnir, fought between those who wished to keep the nation united, led by Xenohan, and those who wished for the secession of Floramia from the nation, led by Cadexi. It started when Xenohan launched a coup d'etat to preserve the nation's unity and prevent Cadexi from separating Floramia from the rest of the empire. The Simulami Empire formed through the unification of the empires of Floramia and Muviel. Initially, the idea of unification started as a joke between the two empires' leaders, Cadexi and Xenohan. However, after numerous discussions of the benefits of a union, the joke was realized. The leaders decided to unite the empire under a diarch system. From that point on, the newly formed empire prospered with two capital cities. Its population more than doubled, making it one of the largest and most active empires on both Rathnir and Eltam. This period of Simulami's history would come to be known as the Golden Age of its history. It was also regarded as far more stable than any other contemporary nations. Behind the scenes, however, things didn't go as smoothly. Oftentimes, Xenohan and Cadexi got into intense arguments with one another, out of the sight of the public eye. Xenohan lost patience with Cadexi's alleged juvenile attitude, and on August 17th, things came to a head. Xenohan declared himself a mad emperor, giving Cadexi 1.5 weeks to prepare his forces for battle. On August 27th, the clash of the emperors was slated to commence. The loser would be forced to give up their crown and make their capital city into an independent city-state. When Cadexi saw this, he immediately began diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the situation. As Cadexi's serious attitude became evident, Xenohan retracted his initial statement, and the empire staved off a full-out civil war. This sudden change in Xenohan's attitude was credited to him eating good cuisine and having a cup of tea. The relationship between the emperors was unstable, as indicated by the August 17th incident, and only delayed the inevitable. On September the 3rd, the emperors got into another heated argument after Xenohan banished a citizen for their toxic behavior towards him. Cadexi disagreed with this measure, resulting in Cadexi moving to secede Floramia from the Simulami Empire. Following this decision, Xenohan solemnly announced the dissolution of the empire to the citizens of Simulami. However, knowing that the vast majority of the empire's citizens joined after Simulami was formed, and the fact that the majority of citizens identified themselves as Simulami, he launched a coup d'etat to preserve the empire. Most of the empire rallied behind him, although a few remained loyal to Cadexi. Floramia was relegated to the Floramian capital city of Silva. The emperors agreed upon a declaration of war, so Xenohan began preparing to conquer Silva. As he represented Simulami and negotiated military alliances with other nations, he used his standing to call on them for aid. Many nations, including the Kingdom of Viveria and Shingdu, the realm of Asarakane, the Free States of Tortuga, the High Kingdom of Draconia, the High Kingdom of Arkovel, and Skjolbridir, heard his call and voiced their support for the Muviel emperor. On the other hand, Cadexi, whom had great relations with the Kartak diarchy, was able to get their support in the coming conflict, but not for long. Prior to the battle, Kartak volunteer forces arrived to Silva to assist in the defense of the city. However, they arrived to an empty city without defenders and absent of residents. Cadexi and his supporters preemptively fled the city with all they could carry, knowing what the results of the conflict would be. Not wanting to risk their lives to defend a city whose residents had seemingly given up, Pharaoh Smart, one of the leaders of the Kartak diarchy, decided to evacuate their forces from the city. Shortly after, the Kartak diarchy officially recognized Xenohan as the proper monarch of Simulami. Simultaneously, the Unionist forces rallied at the city of Muviel. Then, Xenohan ordered for everyone to rally at the still unnamed newly built capital of Simulami due to its geographical proximity to Silva. As the main army marched to the new capital, scouts patrolled the outskirts of Silva to gather intel, as well as kill anyone that attempted to leave the city. Eventually, the army reached the new capital, where additional allied forces arrived, bringing the total number of Unionist forces to 48 members strong. The army began its march towards Silva, sparking the beginning of the battle. The scouts that were patrolling the periphery of Silva breached through the city's makeshift bamboo and cobblestone defenses, killing the city's sole defender. Once the main army arrived, they breached the city's southern wall at 2 separate points with the use of TNT. Upon entering the city, they proceeded to loot and vandalize the city, taking many valuable items and killing the vast majority of the city's livestock. The battle was a decisive victory for the Unionists, and the city of Silva was reintegrated into the empire with Taco as its new mayor. Taco wasted little time by immediately launching reconstruction efforts. He even promised to compensate the residents of Silva for the valuables lost in the sacking, to the best of his ability. The former Simulami and Floramian leader Cadexi made his final announcement. He stated that he felt betrayed by Xenohan, declaring that he would never forgive him for destroying everything that he had built, and subsequently went into exile. Among his most important last words were these: "You might see me as the main villain, the bad leader, or just a toxic a-hole, and I just don't care. What I want to say is that I'm simply disappointed and not mad for what has happened, but what I see from what he has done made me feel betrayed, and I will never forgive him for this. I'll be leaving. I don't want to see everything I've built ruined with my own eyes. His current whereabouts are unknown. Xenohan, now sole emperor of Simulami, stated that Floramia would not die off with Cadexi's departure. He honored Cadexi's Floramian legacy with a guarantee that their culture, religion, and buildings would be preserved. He also announced the formation of the Second Empire of Simulami. Following this declaration, he had also announced the undertaking of major government restructuring. This included new governors being appointed, an entirely new government position being created, and the amalgamation and reproportioning of the Empire's Rathnear districts. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe, it really helps out the channel. Thank you. Peace out and goodbye.